Howdy y'all, welcome to Nerd Studio. We're out at the range today. Going to talk a little bit about home defense. Stay tuned. Let me start off by saying I am not a home defense expert, but I do play one on TV. No, that's cheesy. All right, let's try this. I'm not a home defense expert, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn last night. Nah, I slept in my own bed. That's not true either. All right, let's just say I'm not a home defense expert. Good enough. You know, I do teach concealed carry here in the state of North Carolina, and you know, I'm a certified NRA pistol instructor, all those good things, but that doesn't qualify me as a home defense expert, so let's just level the playing field there. But really what I wanted to do was make a video about the choices that I made for what was right for me and my family for home defense, how I arrived at those conclusions, and sort of the logic train that goes through to reach that conclusion. I get asked this quite a bit and thought it'd be fun to do a video on it. So let me start out by talking about some of the more common solutions that people come up with and why I didn't go that direction. So let's start out with the first obvious choice, which is, of course, whoa, hey, look at that, a pistol. This is my Glock 19X, one of my carry guns. And, you know, particularly if you're a one-gun person, you've got a pistol for carry, and you use that for home defense. I'm not knocking it. I think it has a couple of challenges when used for home defense that some of the other options don't have. Pistol shooting requires a fair amount of skill to do accurately, and certainly to do under pressure. You're talking about holding the gun out with only 2 points of contact, maybe just one if you're shooting one-handed. Sight alignment does play a factor, although up close not so much. But it takes a little more skill to employ that pistol, and particularly in a stressful situation when you're talking about a home invasion, a home defense scenario, that does cause a little more difficulty in getting that gun on target. And there are solutions to that, you know, particularly nighttime solutions, flashlights. You can go with some sort of reflex sight, which makes it easier. You just put the dot on the target, all that good stuff. But you do have a very short barrel. Shooting at distances gets much harder. So while it's adequate, it's better than no home protection. For me, it really wasn't the first choice, particularly for my wife, who's not a shooter. She doesn't enjoy the sport, so she doesn't get out and practice, and that practice is a big deal when you're talking about pistol shooting. If you want to maintain that muscle memory, you got to get out. I mean, we recommend trying to shoot at least 50 rounds a month to maintain your muscle memory. So if you're not looking to do that, but you want to feel safe at home, the pistol may not be the best choice. Particularly you're talking about getting woke up in the middle of the night. Well, the next most obvious choice is a shotgun, right? Well, I'm going to get my 12 gauge Mossberg pump, and I'm just going to make that pumping noise, and people are going to run for the hills. Sure, maybe, I guess. I don't know, but I don't want to defend myself with a noise. Maybe you want to put that noise on like a 30-second loop and play it up in the bedroom while you're, you know, going after the guy with your other gun. But a couple limitations of a shotgun. First of all, unless you get one of those new fandangled 15-round shotguns, you're talking about a max of 8, and most typically people buy, you know, a Mossberg pump that's got limited to 4 rounds. So that's essentially giving you 4 shots, which if you ask me, when you are experiencing an adrenaline dump during a home invasion, 4 rounds is not enough. And other people, you know, they say, well, that's going to just open up and blow holes in the walls. Well, that's not actually true. If you've ever done any bird hunting with a shotgun or shot clays or anything like that, down a hallway, it doesn't really open up that much. Maybe like that, but probably more like that. So you still got to aim that thing. It's not like you can just point it in a hallway and go boom, and you're going to take out 10 guys all standing there. Not a video game, folks. So there's that. If you get a pump shotgun under stress, you can short chuck that thing so that when you go to load the next round, you don't pump the action all the way because you're nervous, or you're in a confined space and you don't actually get the next round loaded. That takes practice, and again, we're back just like with the pistol. Practice makes perfect, but you do have to practice that. So it's not a no-brainer option. There is, again, skill with the shotgun that is required to employ it correctly, and it's just a limited number of rounds. I'm not a big fan of these new 15-round shotguns. Some of them I think are 12. I've tried a couple of them, and again, it comes down to being able to shuck to rack the action and stuff accurately in a fight, and it's just not something most of us are going to be able to do. So let's talk about the choices I actually made.
If you want to protect yourself, get a double-barrel shotgun, have the shells, a 12-gauge shotgun, and I promise you, as I told my wife, we live in an area that's wooded and somewhat secluded. I said, Jill, if there's ever a problem, just walk out on the balcony here or walk out, put that double-barrel shotgun and fire 2 blasts outside the house. I promise you, who's ever coming in is not going to... You don't need an AR-15. It's harder to aim, it's harder to use, and in fact, you don't need 30 rounds to protect yourself.
So as I considered my options for home defense, there were several criteria that I'd set out, and the first of that being round count. So wolves travel in packs. That's the way they are. These guys don't tend to break into houses alone. You're thinking of like the Second Story Man. Typically in a home invasion, these guys are thugs, and there's several of them. I want something that is going to carry a minimum of 20 rounds, and preferably 30 rounds or even more potentially. My Glock 19X, of course, this will carry 19 rounds. That's terrific. There's some of the full-size guns out there will get up to like 21 rounds. So that gets close, but the shotgun, of course, doesn't meet that, so it immediately took the shotgun off the table. Really, the next criteria I had was that it be the easiest possible solution to employ. When I say that, I mean I wanted something I could put on target, pull the trigger, and stand a better than average chance of actually hitting. Now, when I say me, I really mean me and my family. And again, I talked about my wife, who's not she's not into the sport. She doesn't practice shooting, and so I needed something that she could pick up and get on target and do what it needed to do. And that immediately took the pistol off the table. And to be honest, talking about getting woke up in the middle of the night, the less mechanics and the less skill required to employ that gun, the better. So with that criteria, we chose a couple of different guns. The first is an AR-15 pistol. This one is a 10.5-inch barrel in a hardened arms upper. The lower is by Anderson Manufacturing. We've got an SP Tactical collapsible brace on it. Pistol brace, if you don't know the story about that, I've got some other videos, and there are tons of them out there on the internet. We put primary arms. This is the, what is it, the MD80S, I think is the model number. This is a 50,000 hour battery life model. So about once a year you go in and change out the battery, and then you just never turn it off. You got to keep the dot pretty much on one of the lower settings to get that life, but it's plenty. I can get the dot in the middle of the day, no problem. So at night in particular in the house, you're gonna have no problem seeing that dot. Then our next option, and this one really chose with my wife in mind, is the Scorpion Evo 3. This is a great gun, shoots 9mm. We put 30 round magazines with hollow point ammunition in it. It's got the SP Tactical folding brace on it. Again, this is a pistol, so this is a really tiny package, but you still get that 3 points of contact. It's going to be accurate if you had to up to 100 yards, but within, your house, it's everything you need. These guns are incredibly reliable. We have shot the living shnikes out of this thing, and it never fails. On top, we've got the Holosun. It's an HS403C. It's got the solar panel on top, so day and night this thing operates. I don't think I've ever turned the actual dot on. We just rely on the red dot. It's got plenty of juice, and it works at night, no problem. The other great thing about this is my wife is left-handed, so this is a fully ambidextrous gun with the exception of the ejection port, of course. But you've got safety on both sides, slide release on both sides, or bolt release on both sides. Great package for home defense, I think. I take my wife out once in a while, have her just practice picking the gun up, loading it, putting it on target, pulling the trigger, and she can do it every time. It's not going to be a gun that requires a lot of skill. So let's talk ammo. What I was looking for was something out of either gun that was going to dump all of its energy into the target without over penetrating. So you want some sort of self-defense round. You don't want to go with like ball ammo. It's going to zip right through. For the Evo, we went with Federal HSTs. These are nice because they fit the bill. These are 124 grain. They meet the FBI gel test just fine. They dump a lot of energy into the target with that nice hollow point pedaling that happens. And the side benefit is they're less expensive. You can get them in bulk if you do some online shopping fairly inexpensively compared to other self-defense rounds. You can get them, I think, in 50-round boxes, which is kind of crazy. Maybe it's 25. Now anyway, it's less expensive. Go out and look them up. And when you're talking about loading 30-round magazines for the gun, that's something to consider. For the AR-15, I went with an ammunition from Hornady. It's one of their line of black ammo, and it's specifically formulated to shoot well out of these short-barreled pistols and rifles, and it is a self-defense round, 77 grain. A lot of people will say, "Oh, I don't want to use an AR-15. It rips right through them." Folks, the AR-15 was made for shooting people. That was when they formulated the 5.56 round. That's what they were after. It's why the military chose it. That's what the military does with them. So yes, they have lots of other uses. You could certainly use them for varmints and target shooting, plinking, and all of that. But the 5.56 was originally formulated for a military application, and so it is designed around shooting people. And what do you want out of that? You want the round to again dump energy inside the target. So you'll hear some folks say and that the 62 grain or the 55 grain will tumble inside the target. I have no personal experience with that, but that's the word on the ammo out there. In this case, though, this Hornady Black is an expanding bullet, so it's certainly going to dump all of its energy, a great deal of energy in the target. That's how they formulated it. We've done some cheese can testing here with it. It does a fine job. So if you put your stock in my cheese can testing, I probably wouldn't, but if you do, it did great. So that's what we chose for the ammo. Okay, be a little silly to come out here with guns and not shoot a few rounds. Let's do that and we'll finish up. We reload our 9mm here at the studio because we shoot them a bunch. And I'm going to make a video on this upcoming on the new bullet we're using. This is a North Carolina product out there in Kernersville. God, I hope I pronounced that right. Kernersville. I'll take crap for that if I didn't get it right. This is the blue bullet. This is a polymer coated lead bullet. Order them in bulk, about 6.75 cents a round, shipped free. With the volume that we shoot out here at the studio, that's quite a bit of savings. So anyway, look for a video on that upcoming. Love that gun. Come on, get on the video. Yeah. How you doing, buddy? Oh. Give that camera sniffles. One of the other choices that we made when we built this gun was to put a Fostech binary trigger, the Echo system, in it. Yeah, it's fun, but it actually has a pretty practical purpose, and that's in a pretty decent controllable double tap. So those are our choices for home defense. I'm not knocking your choice. I'm just saying this is what we chose and how we got there. Unless, of course, you choose a shotgun so you can make that noise and you think that's going to scare people off. I might pick on you about that, just saying. Before we head out, I just wanted to say real quick, I got noticed a couple of times in my hometown of Roxborough, North Carolina in the last week or two, and just want to give a shout out, say hey to those folks. Really appreciate you watching the channel and you know, hollering at me. It's a little weird because I'm just some schmo who makes some videos, but I really do appreciate you watching, and it's great to have a little hometown recognition. Rock City. All right, folks, always remember anyone can shoot and have fun. We'll see you next time.